Hey everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, and we're back in the 3.5 Monster Manual, and today we're on the Kobold. And I printed a Kobold out, a Dungeon Swag Kobold. However, two things occurred to me. One, building Kobolds is not that hard, and two, I printed this guy in 32mm instead of 28, so he is way too big. So, easy fix, we'll just make some Kobolds. So what I have here are some broken miniatures and crappy miniatures from like a 25mm game. I got a dragon from How to Train Your Dragon, some dinosaur parts from Broken Dinosaurs, and HeroClix that are missing arms, or this is actually a Mage Knight, I think, but just parts. And what we're going to do is we are going to make 3 Kobolds, and then in the next episode we'll paint the 3 Kobolds. So I'm just going to get some pill bottles and a dab of glue. I often forget, because I do like to use the Dungeon Swag minis because, they're our product and I want to sell them. But I often forget that some people don't even have access to that kind of shit. So I need to, not always be doing that when I don't have to. I can't make a nice looking dwarf. I can make a crappy dwarf. I can't make a nice looking dwarf, but I think I can make an okay looking kobold, hopefully. At least that's my plan. And I'm not going to make him exactly like the book. I'm going to make him as a custom kind of special, more primal kobold, I think. Something that's a little more, ferocious and horrid. That's what I want to do. How it turns out, though, that could be a different story altogether. If you've been here before, you know the deal. I'm putting super glue on these bases, and I'm rubbing it around, and then I'm going to get baking soda, sprinkle it on there, shake off the excess, and use that as my dirt surface. When you're using these little counter token things here, they have a rim around them that's kind of jaggedy and ribbed. Sometimes if you hit them twice, it'll cover that up, but I'm not overly worried. I'm just going to leave it and hope it's not noticeable through the paint job. It might be. I won't sweat it if it is. So these are size small creatures. So we're going to have to do some kit bashing to get these miniatures that are medium sized down to small. But I think we can figure it out if we work hard here and take our time and rush. Take our time and rush. Hurry up and wait. No, we'll hurry. So first thing we're going to need is we're going to need some torsos. So I have this guy is small, got a small torso. This guy's got a small torso, and that guy's pretty skinny. He's got some glue stuck to him though. Let's see when he gets to our third torso. I really hate to destroy her. What's this guy? He's kind of small. Okay, I don't know what his deal is. Let's take his head off. Let's start with this guy. Alright, so we're just going to snip his head off. And it's going to go back in the parts box where I got him. And then we're going to take his arms. We're going to leave his crotch and his the rest of his torso intact, though. We're just going to take his other leg off. Don't want to lose that leg. Alright. So let's start by trying to round off this torso a little bit. It's very small. And let's try to make it look a little more natural and rounded, because we're going to be attaching more stuff back to this. But we want our posture and his head and stuff to be a little interesting. So I have those heads. We could use those and have all the same 3 heads, but I'd kind of like to have some different types of heads maybe. So we have that one. We're not using that one. We could use this one or that one. Let's look at this one. Let's take this one. And let's snip it off and see how big it looks on that torso. Pretty big. Alright, let's try it. Tiniest dab of hot glue. Then you want to kind of rock that back and catch it and pull it forward so that it has a good solid grab. Then we need some legs for this dude. We could probably use this bent leg here for one of them. Probably didn't need to cut that off then. And have him be kind of crouching. And we need another leg for him, so let's find something bent and thin. Like this guy's leg is small. We'll snip off that little pointless nubbin piece. And let's take his leg. We don't need all his leg because he's little. There we go. We'll just glue that on there like that. Okay. And we need a tail for him. So I have this piece here, and it's like a tentacle for my hero click, and I'm just going to get this, put a little dab of glue on his butt. Oh, I need to cut my fingernails. They're getting grossly long. Rub it around a little bit so that you're kind of catching more surface than you need, and then drag it where you want it. Alright. Now, before I get into the next part where I do his arms, I'm going to come up here and clean up around his neck and attach it to his body better. And I'm just going to drag it around and fill it in where there's gaps. I'm sure saying Googa is a bad thing because I've heard my adult sons saying it. They don't say nice things. But they said something about a little Googa, and I thought it was funny, and now I keep saying it up. It's like stuck in my head. All right, we're going to set him down for a minute. And I don't want the glue to stick to the table. We're going to set him here for a minute and hope he doesn't fall down. Apparently he is falling down. Can we get him on a base like this? Yes, we can. All right, let's hurry up and get him on a base before this gets out of control. So to get him on a base, I'm going to get my baking soda. I'm going to clear all this stuff out so it's not what I'm working. Oh, he's stuck to my hand. All right. To make sure he's good and solid on this base, I'm going to get where his feet are. I'm going to sprinkle some baking soda down and put his feet on that little base. Then I'm just going to drop a little super glue onto his foot and let it soak into the pile. Okay. And then if I'm not super satisfied with how sturdy he is, I can just sprinkle a little bit and let it kind of absorb in. Let's see if he's on there good. Yeah, he's on there pretty sturdy. All right, let's figure out his arms. So we have these little arms we can use that he had, and we have a ton of other arms here. And we're not limited to which arms we use or don't use. So I think what I want to do is I want to get this little arm, and I'm not going to snip it off all the way up to the shoulder. I'm just going to snip it off to about right there. Get a little bit of an angle. Alright, I messed that one up. We're going to make it work though. Dab of glue. And we want this arm to be kind of down off his side some. And I'm using just that little bit of glue to hold it in place and be his shoulder. And then we want to have another hand maybe holding a sword or a spear or something. So let's see if we can find a weapon that we can use that's in her right hand. Here we go. This lady's arm is a good candidate for his other arm, even though her arm is thinner. We're going to want to cut this at an angle. Just take her arm off. Let's see how long that is. It's pretty long. You know what? We'll just snip that off and do the same thing. Drag it around and get it in position. Okay. Something like that. Now I'd like some spikes on their heads. So I'm going to grab, in my creepy crawly box, I have a bunch of these soft, these guys, centipedes. And I'm just going to steal a couple snips off of this. I had some of these and I threw them away like a dumbass. But I'm just going to make a couple small spikes to sit on him, on his head and back. Because these are more like a feral, like I said. They're not... And I'm not putting a lot. I'm just getting glue and then I'm dragging it back. And I'm just going to throw 2 spikes on quick with that. Uh-oh, not as quick as I'd hoped. Probably too warm now, or too cool now. Ah, shit. It happens. Oh, okay. I've said it before, my hands work better earlier in the day than they do in the evening. But unfortunately, I had to go into work today and do stuff. And it was a long day. Okay, that last spike fell off somewhere, and I don't know where it went. Do you see it? No? There's a bug. Hi, bug. We're going to leave him alone. Oh, here's that spike. All right. Alright, so that spike is crooked to my other ones. Oh, that one right there. So we're just going to heat that back up. Get that back on there. And hopefully center it a little better. Okay, so this is looking pretty good for our first little Guga. I knew I was going to keep saying it because I'm a bad guy. We're just going to get some glue and put it on there and get a toothpick and kind of rub it in between. And we're going to sprinkle around. And then if you didn't, oops, I'm throwing stuff around over here. If you didn't get it good enough, you can come back through and get another little swipe. And you don't want to put a bunch, you want to sprinkle it. Okay. So if there's any textures on him that you don't like or any spots where you're worried it won't be sturdy, all you do is get your glue, get it in there, sprinkle some baking soda. You know, strengthen it up, and it'll also hide little weird seams a little bit. These guys are really small and we need them to be sturdy, so you want to hit all these joints with a little bit of glue and a little bit of baking soda. Okay, just to sturdy them up. Alright, so we're going to get the minor burning hands spell, because I know you dudes and dudettes love it when I use magic. We're going to make sure everything's sturdy, everything's attached. Sweet. So there's our first primal kobold. And since I'm using all junk pieces, this is costing me $0. Alright, let's make the next one. So this one's already kind of got a body that could work for what I want to do right there. So let's snip him off this base. Let's snip off that staff head. Let's snip off his head. And let's look for a new head for him. So I'm thinking this guy's head is going to be the right head for the job. I'm going to get a dab of glue, mount it to his chest in the same manner I did the last one. And I'm just going to wiggle it around and get it kind of where I want it. And then I made a mistake by cutting his shoulders off really square. And to fix that, I'm just going to get some glue on there and drag it around. So this is going to be like the, maybe like their shaman or something, I don't know. He's going to be a little smaller. Let's get a piece of tail for him. I think for this one we're going to use this piece of tail. I'm going to have it come right out the back of his little loincloth thing, the little dress kilt, whatever that is. Okay, something like that. And then I'm going to also, just because I want to make sure that that's not got a big, like, weird spots, I'm going to hit that with the lighter, or I mean the burning hands. Melt some of that glue up. Okay. So this goo gaw was easy to make. We're going to need some spikes. But let's get him on a base before we commit to the spikes. And to get him on the base, we're going to do what we did before. Figure out where his little feet are going to be. I'm worried about that not being sturdy, so I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit extra on there. I got a little bit on his foot, that's okay. We'll just scrape it off with a toothpick real quick. Okay, good. Now we can do his spikes and find a spearhead for him. And I don't think it's going to be as hard as all that. So for his spikes, we're going to use this guy again, but I'm going to use some smaller ones for this guy. It's going to be even harder to do with my fingers not behaving. We're just going to cut off a couple legs. We're going to start on his head. Which way is down? There we go. I want to tilt that back some, like that. And I'm just getting the next biggest one. Trying to figure out which way is curving down. And this time I'm going to be a little smarter and burn myself so I can get a better positioning. Okay. One more. This guy might not have 4 spikes. He might only have 3. Because he is teensy. Okay. I feel like he has to have that 4th spike. It's like, at this point, we're committed. Okay, I'm just gonna, where is my minor burning hands? There it is. Okay, just gonna get some of that spider web away. And then we're gonna glue. Okay. Okay, so I want a little sturdy up under his neck a little bit there because I'm worried that it's not going to be sturdy. So I'm just going to get a little bit of glue, a little bit of baking soda. Okay, so now we have 2 of these kobolds. And they don't look exactly the same. That's okay. And we had another small body somewhere in this pile, did we not? We have this. Now this dude's got all kind of pieces on him. He's covered. He's just riddled with spikes. I couldn't even tell you what this came from. It was like a little set of, like, I got these dirt cheap miniatures, these little like miniatures, like 25 millimeter, but a lot of them had like weird spikes on them. And even though I only paid like $4 for like 30 miniatures, I had no use for them at all. And most of them have been cut up. 2 of them became monsters that are on my shelf. And the rest have become parts for stuff mostly. I think we got most of the spikes off the best we can. And let's look in comparison as to what we have to do to make this guy work. Okay. We need a head. And I think I'd like to take this head. And I need to take those fins off. And a little bit of that neck. Tab of glue. This is one of those ones where you're going to have to rub it around to make it kind of, to make sure you get that good, something you can fix. I'm going to turn his head a little bit at an angle, like he's kind of screaming. Now we need some arms. These are pretty skinny. He's got some kind of little thing that we don't want on there. We'll leave the bottom part in case we have to attach a weapon though. Okay. And what I want to do with this guy is have him kind of like, I don't know, let me see. I'm thinking he's doing some kind of like roaring deal. Something like that maybe. Let's get a tail coming out of the back of his loincloth. Do I have another one of those little, yeah, I have another one of these little tentacle things. I kind of like to use a dinosaur tail instead of this. I like this one better. Alright, we need to get him on a base and do some spikes. First I just want to kind of clean up. There's some gaps. And he kind of tightened up there. Alright, so we're going to get him on the base, and this is going to kind of be the same deal. We're going to get some baking soda where his feet go. Yep. And I'm going to do the same thing to strengthen him up. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit around there, trying not to get it on his foot so much. Yeah, but we inevitably will get some on his feet. Alright. This dude needs some spikes. We'll set that off to the side till we're ready for it. Let's get him some spikes. And we have to figure out his weapon scenario here, or situation, not scenario. So I want his spikes to be kind of medium. I did one with big spikes, little small spikes, and I would like to do some medium spikes. And since it's my guy, I can do my spikes how I want. I see 3 spikes. I cut 4. Okay, I'll just cut another spike. All right. Start with the biggest one. I'm going to come off his back of his neck with this one. You know what? I think we learned on the last one that it's easier to put the glue on the spikes. And you know what else we should have learned? It's easy to do the small bottom spike first too. That should have been a lesson learned out of that. Oh, I dropped it. Do you see it? If you see it, it doesn't help me. But go ahead and leave a message anyway saying you see where I lost it. Like a comment like, hey dumbass, it's right there. And then I'll look, but it will be too late because I've already swept this up. Alright. Oh hell. And I lost it. There it is. Haha. Okay, there we go. Okay. Next one. God darn me. Can't get a hold of these things to save my life. Okay. And I want that tilted back some. We'll do this last one here. As we play the Doom Can't Pick Shit Up game. Haha, suck it. Now let's get our minor burning hands and do a little show off work with magic. Ooh, magic. Magic. Okay. And we got to figure out something about that weapon. So let's look at what we have. We have that blade there. We could make him a sword. And that looks like that is it. Or we could make him a scratch weapon. But I think what we're going to do is just take that blade. Get a little bit of glue. Drip it on his hand. A little baking soda. going to get a tiny bit more glue just to weten that up. A little bit of baking soda. All right, cool. So let's put all this other stuff away. What is that? Oh, I got to do his back yet. Hold on, I didn't put any glue on his back where his spikes and his arms are just hanging there, barely on. So let's get in here. There we go. Get all this nice and wet. I don't know how I got super glue on the front of him. Magic, probably. One of his little spikes was still hanging on by a thread. Hey! I don't know how'd you get in there? One of those spikes I cut off ended up in the baking soda. Wonder if our guy's missing a spike. Well, they all have all their spikes. Okay. So let's get all this stuff here. We're going to call this usable parts. And this stuff's going to go in the parts box. Boop, boop, boop. I'll even take these little pieces of tentacle left over. You never know. A couple little arms. And we need a parts box. Of course, it's not on top. In the parts box. Shake it or it won't close because it's full. And this is stuff. Well, I wanted to save that head. Put it over there for now. Not dragging the part box out. And all this stuff. I'm tossing. Could use it, but don't really need to. So we need a spearhead for this dude. And our stupid. I'm going to set these in front of the fan to glue the dry the super glue. And let's make a spearhead for this guy. Probably could have just used one of those pieces from that bug. So I'm going to grab my parts box back out. Boop. Find that bug. And steal that piece. There we go. Just like a bot. And you're probably thinking, Doom, why would you punish yourself and get another one of those little pieces out? Because I'm an idiot. You haven't figured that out yet, guys. I am simple stupid. Oh, you dick. Okay, like that. All right. Failed attempt number 1. All right, when we paint that, we'll make it look like a dragon tooth or something. All right. So there's our shit kobolds that we... Oh, I got super glue all over my finger. There's our shit kobolds that we made for no bucks out of scrap parts. And if you didn't have scrap parts, that might have cost you some bucks. But these are just dinosaurs from Dollar Tree heads, pretty much, and whatever crap miniature pieces I have. So you could probably do the same with what you have laying around in your stuff. If you buy HeroClix in bulk, I guarantee you some of them come broken, because I open them up with like loose arms in the bottoms and stuff, and it's unbelievable. So now we have our 3 kobolds. I'm going to spray these with clear coat first. I'm just going to hit them with a dab of clear coat before I paint them black. You'll see why when you have these different types of plastics and you haven't prepped them before, sometimes the paint won't stick to them nice. So to fix that, we're just going to hit them with a clear coat real quick, dry them, then base coat them black, and then we'll come back and paint. So I'll see you guys in part 2. If you like what I'm doing here, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell icon, comment, share it with a friend, share it with a Facebook group or something. I don't know. Check out our website and buy some minis. This is what our kobolds look like. They're obviously way better than that, but I printed it out of scale, so I figured might as well do these. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.